Hello once again, everybody. Gerard Longo here from Lehigh Valley Underground. We are back for another installment of the Lehigh Valley Underground Best of 2017 video series. And today we're talking about some of the bands that have stood out to us here this year. And plenty more videos, of course, have already been shown on LVU, and plenty more still to come. So I have joining me to my right, Kara Hartzell, solo performer, gigging like a mad woman all over the Lehigh Valley. And then we have Jason Hedrington joining me once again to the left, of course, also gigging like a mad man. Yeah. So we have two of the busiest, hardest working musicians in the Valley here, to my right and left. So
it's true.
So we're talking about the bands that have stood out to us here in 2017. And Kara, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of cheat, but I'm going with the Bastard Sons of Bert Sugarman, just because it's a collaboration of all these great musicians, you know, and anytime that you see them, it's kind of a different conglomeration of who they are and what they're going to perform, but I think it's so cool. I'm a huge proponent of collaboration because there's so much we can learn from everybody else, so I'm really disappointed that I can't be at their next show, but so I can hang out with this guy. But, you know, I think that's so cool because, like I said, we all have so much to offer, and we don't get to play with each other and see each other all the time. So it's like a great opportunity to be like, wow, look, all these guys I love to watch play, and now they're in a band together. Yeah. So.
And I have to say, I will admit, I've actually never been able to see one of those gigs, the Bastard Sons. Wow. And like, I've always wanted to, but there's just always been something else going on that day, or I'm out of town, or hanging with my niece and nephew, or whatever. So one day, I'm finally going to see the Bastard Sons of Bert Sugarman. You can quote me on that. It just won't be before the end of 2017. But you think about a lot of the bands whose members comprise that. You know, you have, of course, Ryan the Seeker People. You can pay me later again.
Yes, Carter Lansing.
Yeah, of course, Acoustic Kitty Project. You know, bands like those who, you know, are hardworking, are out there constantly gigging and just, you know, bringing new things to their live stage performance, bringing new things, you know, to their arsenal. I mean, bands like that stand out. You know, bands like Scott Marshall and all of his incarnations, the Hillbilly Souls, Marshall's Highway, the Highway Souls, which is the combination of the two. You know, some of the hardest working, most talented musicians you're going to see out here. You know, and I mean, another group of guys that gigs constantly. You know, I've personally had a lot of fun with Victim this year. You know, just like
fun is the key word.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with those guys. You know, and they've, you know, I mean, they've been just great to me personally, and you know, every time you go out and you see a Victim show, you never know what to expect.
No.
And that's really like, that's their edge.
That's
you know?
Absolutely.
And you know, as far as like from a pure talent standpoint, like where I think they're going to go, Another Day Dawns has been huge this year. I mean,
hearing, but I haven't seen them yet.
They're fantastic. Their performance at the LVMAs was phenomenal. They performed two of their originals. Also, they had a couple shows rather during festival season, Music Fest and the Celtic Classic, and they packed the Wood and Match. The Wood and Match books them right off the festival grounds, and it is packed, and they bring it. And every single time, like everywhere they go, they seem like they're packing it. I think they're really on the cusp of some really big things. So that, I guess, just off the top of my head, that's kind of my short list. I mean, but I just want to say this. I mean, so many people have just done a phenomenal job out there, and have just been such a joy to watch and to listen to all year. It's really hard for me to pick, you know. But just off the top of my head, you know, those are some of the ones that really stand out to me. So, Jason.
Well, first, I want to follow up on the Bastard Sons. Also, just to clarify, I think for a lot of people out there who might not know, it's also it's a singer-songwriter circle, anchored by Mike Roy and Carter Lansing, and then they bring in, from show to show, it's all different singer-songwriters from all around the Lehigh Valley. So what made me think about this is, I was talking earlier about the blend up in Bath and places where singer-songwriters can get a chance to be featured. So what's really great about the Bastard Sons is it's a lineup and a project that is there for the purpose of featuring singer-songwriters. So you can come and you can see them in an intimate setting where you know you're going there to see, all right, this month I'm going to see some new singer-songwriters I've never seen. The next month, all right, I can't wait to see what they've got next. So that's a great choice. I wanted to back you up on that and kind of explain more what they're doing. Because again, I think that's one thing that there's a lot of band work in the area, but there's not a lot of love for the singer-songwriter. Meaning there's a little bit of love and there's places to play, but you don't see the singer-songwriters getting featured as much as the rock bands and all that. So I really like a format and a place that will help support the folk scene and the singer-songwriter scene. I think that's a thing that's rising here in the Lehigh Valley right now. You're seeing more and more of the singer-songwriter thing is coming up in this whole thing that's happening in the Lehigh Valley. So I want to give some props to the Bastard Sons for that as well. I thought about this question, and I boiled it down. My one band that I want to give props to this year, it's a band that's been out for a few years. I've been watching them rise up, and I think they've really started to gel, and they are killing it, and that is Redwood. Redwood Reggae. This is a band, first of all, a guitar player who's a monster guitar player, the Reverend B. Ill on guitar, who's been around for years. He comes from the New Hope, the Ween camp, used to play the Sound of Urchin. The guy will melt your face on the guitar. He's like a heavy metal guitarist with like the heavy metal chops playing in a reggae band, so he'll melt your face off that guitar. Chris Long has been working for a long time getting his whole thing down with his whole, his rap and his vocals. And so for me with Redwood, and Leo on the drums, he's got this new tiny drum kit that's just this really crazy drum kit I've never seen before. You gotta see him for the drum kit. It's this cool little thing and it sounds great. And Derek on the bass, so you've got this amazing tight rhythm section, you got this face-melting guitarist, and you got this lead singer who, the thing with Chris Long is he is 100% in it. Like, he is invested in the message of Jah Love. He's not just some guy out there like, I want to be a dude playing in a reggae band. He is invested. He believes in every word, and when every single word and syllable that comes out of that guy's mouth, he is preaching the word to you. Yeah. And so when you go to a Redwood show, you're getting a great rhythm section with a great groove, so you're moving. You got a guy melting your face with the guitar, and you got a guy who's like a preacher in front of that band, preaching the word and preaching a higher purpose, so not just like rock and roll and not just music, but a guy who's there to spread a message of positivity and love and unity. And I think it's a band that has a very important purpose and a very important message. They are operating at a higher level than most acts in the Lehigh Valley because there's an actual uplifting of humanity that's going on at Redwood shows. I think they might be the most important band in the Lehigh Valley. I say go see Redwood.
I actually had a couple more that I've added to my list in the time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like, oh, I remember this, remember this.
Beautiful distortion and just everything they're able to do with their vocal harmony is always just so on point, and the way they're able to meld that with their hard rock style, but also soften things up too. And you know, they are, I think, one of the strongest and most underrated acts in the Valley. I think that they have just so much ability to do any shade, any form of rock that they want in that band. And I just think that, you know, if you haven't heard the Beautiful Distortion play, first of all, they have a new Christmas album out now called Merry Christmas or Else. Listen to it. Dave Dahl does an amazing Mr. Grinch, and that's just the tip of the iceberg there. I also want to give props to Billy Bauer Band. Now, personally, as a fan, like as a music fan, I've never been a big Dave Matthews guy, but I had the opportunity to cover Billy's Dave Matthews tribute at ArtsQuest, and that like really made me appreciate Dave Matthews. Yeah. You know, like the musicianship and just the artistry there. And just in general, like the original material that band puts out is great, and they're, I think, going to be working on some new stuff very soon. And Billy's just a genuinely good guy. Nice guy. You know, one of the nicest guys you'll find on the music scene. I also want to give credit to Rofo Audio. If you don't know, these guys are from Royersford. They are a power trio, and they're actually churning out music pretty regularly too. They just released a holiday track of their own called Stay Till Morn. Their album Reach came out within the past year, and they're working on album number 3. So definitely check them out as well. But we want to know your picks as well. Out there? Yeah. Did you want to add something?
Oh, I had one more.
Go ahead.
Yes, because I feel like the scene isn't as talked about, but for the alt scene, I would give props to Cedar Green. They've really been doing a lot of stuff. And,
and that, absolutely.
Yeah, and that unfortunately, like the alt rock scene is kind of like gone underground, especially with the closing of
Gone Underground.
Yeah, Gone Underground. See what you did there. With the closing of Croc Rock and stuff, so there's not a lot of places for them to perform, but now you have One Center Square that they're trying to get some of those acts in there. Yeah. So, but anyway, to speak from that side.
And actually, real quick throw out there, especially for those of you in the jam band scene. I've watched this year. I've got a chance to see Mosey Beat. Mosey Beat has taken their game from here to here in the last year. And a band I saw at the Funhouse that I think is really exciting is Father Yod. I want to throw props out to them. They are improv in the moment jam band, and they kind of blew my mind one night. So props to them as well. For you jam band folks out there.
Yeah.
And we want to know what you think. Make sure you comment on this video. Also, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Lehigh Valley Underground. Let us know which bands on our local scene stood out to you this year, and any that we should check out that we might have missed. We'll be back. Plenty more still to come in the series. Hey now.